This is a WWN Publishing Group recording. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is an abridged version of Hot Georgia Rein by Martha Sweeney to make the story appropriate for all listeners on YouTube. Read to you by the author. If you want to read the complete story, you can find the ebook or paperback online. Links are provided below in the description. Chapter 7, Ivy. "You okay, Sweet Pea?" Mama asks as I enter the dark living room. "I'm sorry I yelled. I shouldn't have done that. I'm fine, Mama," I reply, joining her on the couch. My body plops down as if I've just run a marathon. "Where's Papa?" "He's in bed," she replies. "I told him and Grady that I'd stay up and wait for you. You hungry?" "A little," I admit sheepishly. Mom gets up from the couch quickly, making her way into the kitchen that is just beyond the living room. She starts taking out leftovers from the fridge without a second thought. "I'm sorry, Mama," I say, taking a seat at the island. "I wasn't thinking. I should have been, though. You're right, Mama. It was stupid." Mama pauses for a second and nods, accepting my apology. "The past is in the past," she says, as she always does when she wants to move on. "How is my grandbaby doing?" "He's good," I reply with a smile, picking at the edges of the placemat. "He doesn't really seem to miss me." "I'm sure he does," Mama corrects. "You're his mother. He just knows he's in good hands with Cece." My head bobs, knowing that my best friend can handle my rambunctious 2.5-year-old. "Have you given any thought about having her bring him down here?" Mama inquires carefully. "No," I admit, "but I know I'll need to. This is the longest we've been apart. I know that it'll get to both of them soon." "Did you and Henry get a chance to talk before I interrupted?" Mama searches. "No," I sigh. "I'm doubting that me being here is a good thing." "You being here, home with your family, is always a good thing," Mama chides sweetly. "You know what I mean," I reply, taking the fork she offers and then the first bite of Mama's famous blueberry pie a la mode while she heats up chili on the stove. "He could be your family too," Mama pushes. "He's a free man now." "Mama," I whine, "she just died a week ago. I hardly doubt the man has grieved for his wife." "He's grieved enough," Mama states. "Mama," I scold, "don't be heartless. He cared for that woman, but most certainly did not love her the way that he still loves you," she proclaims. My cheeks burn. "He doesn't still love me," I counter, taking another bite of pie. "He sure as hell does," Mama defends. "I saw it in his eyes when I found you two on the roof." I shake my head as my mouth remains too full to speak. "Yes, he does," Mama repeats. "You two will need some time to re-establish your relationship, but he and you will finally have your chance." "He won't like finding out that I have a son," I state nervously. "No more than you finding out that he chose her over you," Mama presents. I swallow my last bite of pie that feels loaded with a lead brick. The last night I saw him was all I needed to know that he still loved me until he never bothered to come for me, to fight for us. "I'm sorry, Sweet Pea," Mama says, covering my hand with hers. "I didn't mean to make you upset." "I know, Mama," I reply with a forced smile. "I know. You two just need to talk, reveal your feelings, and any and all secrets," she advises, pausing for a second when our eyes meet. "Both of you." "Henry doesn't have secrets, Mama," I remind. "I do." "Well, that boy has a lot to prove if he's going to have my blessing to marry you," Mama declares. "I don't think another marriage is anywhere in Henry's mind," I reply. "You never know," Mama debates. "A man who has lost a lot changes pretty quickly." "Even if there is a chance for us, he won't forgive me," I remind. "He'll be blinded by the memories for a while, but then eventually I'll have to tell him the truth." "You did what you had to do," she justifies. "There was no right answer, only a less painful one for you to endure." She scoops out 3 large helpings of chili into a bowl and pushes it toward me. "Thanks, Mama," I say, before taking the first bite. "Too hot?" she checks. "Just right," I confirm with a smile. "You gonna try to see him tonight?" she pries. "Don't know," I return, chewing the rest of my mouthful. Mama nods but doesn't comment. She walks over to me, wraps her arms around my shoulders, and then kisses the top of my head. "Good night, Sweet Pea," she bids. "Night, Mama," I reply as she walks out of the kitchen. I slowly eat the rest of the chili Mama gave me, enjoying every savory bite while also trying to decide on what to do and how to do it all. I need to be smart about this whole situation. I can't expect anything, and I need to respect Henry and those who are immediately involved. I know it's just a matter of time when my secret is revealed. I just hope that I'm the one telling Henry first to lessen the blow. When I'm done eating, I clean up the kitchen and then quietly make my way up to my old bedroom. A small chuckle emanates from my heart when the door opens to reveal that Mama hasn't changed a thing since I last left. I didn't notice it this morning when I quickly got ready for today's events. I get out my clothes, wrap my robe over me, and jump into the shower that is across the hall from my room. I let the hot water soothe my tense muscles until my fingers and toes become pruny. With just the tank top and shorts on, I climb into bed after I turn on the fan. Our house was retrofitted with air conditioning years ago, but I've never really liked using it. Most of my life we only had fans and water to keep us cool in the spring and summer. Dad splurged on getting the old house updated since Nana and Pops moved in just before I left for college. Pops had a bad fall, which messed up his hip, and it wasn't easy for Nana to take care of him. Mama's and Papa's finances were always good, especially since Dad has practically run the town bank since I entered high school. When Nana and Pops moved in, Mama turned their home into a bed and breakfast that has been doing great each year, especially when it's tour season. As I lie in bed staring up at my ceiling since I'm unable to fall asleep, I replay what happened between Henry and me in my head over and over again. Comparisons of my memory and Mama's comments cause me to pray to God that I'm not imagining things. My mind begins to drift back further when I recount the electric touch between Henry and me earlier. That touch made me feel the same way the first time Henry kissed me, and even more so the first night Henry and I had sex. We were 17, and I think he was more nervous than I was. Mama knew something was different between Henry and me the day he first kissed me at the park. It's like she saw it written all over my face when I came home. It didn't take long for her to pry it out of me. She turned on my radio, loud enough for our voices to not be overheard through the walls, and locked my bedroom door. She swore that she would not discuss anything with my father unless I said she could tell him. I adamantly reminded her several times that what we were talking about did not leave my room. I felt uncomfortable enough discussing the kiss with my mother, so there was no way I could imagine Papa finding out that Henry Lee Rein put his lips on mine. Over the course of the next few weeks, Henry and I started sneaking more kisses when we could. At first, I didn't know if I had dreamt it at all, but the very next day, just after dinner, when we were playing Capture the Flag with a bunch of the younger kids in town, that's when Henry pulled me behind one of the big trees and kissed me again. I'm sure we were there for at least half an hour by the way the kids were running all around us. Each time we heard their footsteps in the dark, Henry held me closer, and we didn't move or make a noise. No one found us, and eventually we had to carefully leave separately to not be discovered. In time, both Henry's parents and mine knew that we were kind of dating. Henry and I never labeled it, but the way we hung out changed. We stopped spending time with most of the other kids, wanting to be alone. Grady always used to bother us. That's what siblings do. Davis was a little cold to me when he found out about Henry and me, but he seemed to move on once Juliana and some of the other girls in town gave him more attention. About 3 months into Henry's and my first kiss, my mama said that we were dating. I shrugged my shoulders and never gave it another thought until the big end-of-summer fair was happening. Henry asked if I'd go with him, alone, and I said yes. It was the first time we had ever openly said that we were going together and didn't want anyone tagging along. At the fair, people we knew kept looking at us. We did our best to stay away from our families, and at some point managed to find a less lit corner to be alone. We made out every chance we got, and sometimes it got hotter than I expected. I didn't mind at all, but Henry got nervous a few times. A few weeks later, Mama said we were going to have a girls' weekend, just the two of us, in Atlanta. I was excited because it had been a while since our last girls' weekend, and I thought we were going to get a head start on school shopping. Anytime Mom and I had a few days without Papa and Grady, it was freeing and fun. We never talked to anyone about the things that we did. Mama would take me to see shows, get dolled up like women do, and a few times we'd even get massages. "Where are we going?" I asked as we walked down a creepy alleyway. "You'll see, Sweet Pea," Mama said with a giddy smile. We stopped in front of an unmarked door and Mama took out her phone. "We're here," she announced to some unknown person on the other end. 5 seconds later, the door opened, scaring me. An older woman with pink on the tips of her hair lets us in. The hall was dark until we hit a larger area with many items on display. There wasn't another person in the shop than the three of us, and I suddenly felt nervous, confused, and concerned. "Mama?" I asked hesitantly. "Don't worry," the woman said. "The front is locked and the blinds are down. No one can see us in here." "Where?" I inquired, confused by the items all around us. "Well, I thought this would be fitting, since you have a boyfriend and all," Mama commented. "I don't have a boyfriend," I reminded. "You and Henry are definitely dating. He's your boyfriend," Mama countered. "He is not," I replied, wiping my sweaty hands on my pants. "Do you two kiss?" Mama pried. "Yes," I answered nervously as the older woman stared at us. "Do you two hang out alone?" Mama checked. Sometimes, but we've always been like, he's definitely your boyfriend, the woman confirmed. Things always change after the first kiss, especially if he keeps kissing you. I blushed, uncomfortable with the stranger knowing my business. Don't be shy, the lady said. Your mama just wants to help a little. I don't understand, I admitted sheepishly. Boys and girls have certain desires and needs when they hit your age, Mama began. Some a little sooner, some a little later, but it's a natural desire that the body requests. My eyebrows pinched together as I'm confused by her statement. I'm not saying that I'm encouraging it happening, but... It? I interrupted my mother. What's it? Sex, the woman blurted out. Oh my God, Mama, I shouted, covering my ears with my hands. Ew, I don't want to talk about that with you. Mama yanked my arms down. I know they sure as hell didn't discuss it with you in school. I know you're a smart girl and have seen enough on television and movies to know the gist, but I want you to be prepared. I don't want to talk about it, I declare, shaking my head. This is so uncomfortable. Henry and I aren't planning on having sex. We're just 17. Many kids have sex as young as 14, the woman announced. What? Ew, gross, I exclaimed, wishing I could unhear what she just said. It's true, Mama confirmed. I was 15. Oh my God, Mama, I don't want to know that. I'm going to feel weird every time I look at Papa. Why, Mama asked. He knows. Ew, I yelled. Please, don't tell me it was Papa who... Nope, Mama stated proudly. It was a different boy, and I'm not ashamed for you to know it. I'd rather you be prepared and have a pleasant experience than most girls their first time. I didn't enjoy my first time, the lady stated. I wanted to get it over with. It took quite a few years for me to know how to use my body, let alone the kind of pleasure I liked and didn't. I'm not hearing this, I declared, covering my ears again. I want to go home. Please, let's go home, Mama, please. Not until we get something, Mama replied. What? What do you need to get? I asked. Just get it and let's go. We can't, Mama informed. You need to pick it out. Pick what out? I asked, shocked by her words. Pick out your own tools, she explained. What? I gasped. My eyes darted around the different items in the room, and reality started to hit me. Where are we? An adult shop, Mama answered calmly. Why? I questioned. Like I said, you gotta get your own tool, she reminded. Tool? I gulped. Vibrator, most likely, the woman stated. It's the best start for any girl who doesn't know much about her body and how to satisfy herself. Satisfy myself? I choked. You're a woman, Ivy, Mama said. You have been for a few years now. I know that your body is having urges. I put it off as long as I could. It's fitting that we do this now since you and Henry are dating. Urges? I repeated, shocked by what I'm hearing. I knew that Mama and I could always talk about things, but we've never discussed sex, let alone all the other things she's already mentioned, and I fear she would add to the list. I prayed that I was only dreaming, but I knew that I wasn't. I stopped speaking after that, letting Mama and the woman just talk and explain whatever they wanted, knowing that there was no way to escape. Was I curious about everything in the shop? Of course I was. I just didn't expect to explore them with my Mama. Back at the hotel room, Mama sat me down and I knew the conversation wasn't over by the look on her face. I just remained on the edge of the bed, waiting for her to say all that she had to say. I know you don't feel comfortable talking about this, Mama stated, so I'm just going to talk. Say my piece, and then we don't ever have to talk about this again. Unless you want to, okay? I nodded and let my gaze fall to the sheets beneath me. Despite what most of society will tell you, the urges your body has, or will have, she changed her words slightly when I looked back up at her. I know because I was your age once too, you know. I bobbed my head again, though I didn't really want to acknowledge what was happening. Boys usually have the urges more intensely than girls, acting on them more quickly, Mama continues. Some girls don't recognize their own urges as much because of how society makes them feel ashamed of their body, or because it takes time for us to know what we like in order for it to be as pleasurable as it is for the man. What do you mean? I asked, suddenly more curious. Most men, especially inexperienced men, don't last long and don't know that it takes a woman a while until she has an orgasm, Mama explained. I don't want to assume that Henry is also a virgin, but I'm certain he might be. Mama, I chided. I know that you're a virgin and just want you to feel confident when it's your first time and every time after that, she defends. The first time is painful for most girls, which makes us avoid it. It's not painful for the man. How do you know I'm not a virgin? I returned. Mama smiles. By how you're acting. How do you know I'm not trying to pretend that I haven't? I cried. A woman who's had sex, plenty of it, knows when another woman has or hasn't had it, Mama claimed. My cheeks reddened, and I looked away, completely uncomfortable. I let Mama continue talking, sharing her information and advice with me. She explained that regardless of whether Henry is my first, that I should know my body and to know what it feels like to orgasm. That there are a lot of expectations for a girl's first time, and unless the man is experienced, it won't be near as fun or satisfying for her. As the memory of seeing Henry again comes back around, a shiver runs down my spine. I check the clock and notice that it's just after midnight. I'm wide awake, horny, and debating on doing something I know I shouldn't do. Just a few seconds later, I grab my silk robe, my cowboy boots and keys, and head down to Mama's truck. I drive over to Henry's, stopping just before the driveway, debating on whether or not to knock on his door this late at night. The next thing I know, my hands turn the wheel as my foot presses down on the gas pedal. I park the truck, turning off the engine just in front of the dark house, and think twice about why I'm here. An odd sound in the distance catches my attention, causing my body to turn in its direction. A small stream of light stretches over the ground and my eyes spot the source. Slowly making my way to the barn, I peer in through the cracks in the giant wood boards to investigate. My eyes widen when I see a half-naked Henry with his back to me. His muscles are extremely tense as he wields a large chisel across a huge stump of wood. My legs take me inside, and despite how quiet I am trying to be, I miscalculate the distance between me and the large metal toolbox. Several of the items on top of it fall, clanging as they bounce down each protruding drawer. When they finally settle on the ground, that's when my eyes lift to see if my intrusion was heard. "Hey," Henry greets with a sexy smile. "Hey," I answer nervously. I'm sorry." I squat down and start to clean up my mess. "Don't worry about it," Henry offers, rushing toward me. Our hands connect when they reach for the same wrench. His eyes fall from mine to my lips and then down to my bare legs. "Sorry," I repeat, taking my robe and wrapping my body with it. "They're just tools," he claims. "No harm done." This is the end of this chapter. Thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying the story so far. To read the full, unabridged version, you can find a link in the description below. To find out about new releases before the general public, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. You'll find a link also in the description. Also, to be notified when the next chapter is published, make sure you subscribe to my channel.